Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Rustl'd for the 19th. Every single day. I can never remember what damn day it is. You know why? It's because I work from home. I don't know the day anymore. I can't tell you what's going on. All I know is that it's getting close to the end of the month, and that's really about where we are right now. But I got a solid lineup of stuff to talk about tonight, and there's a lot of crazy going on in the world right now. You have bombings in Austin. I hope anyone out there watching this from Austin is okay. I know it sounds like I'm just sending thoughts and prayers, but at this point, that's quite literally all I can do. Unless this turns into a Tsarnaev brother situation and becomes like a citywide manhunt for a dude with a crock pot bomb or a pressure cooker bomb. This is kind of what we're dealing with at this point. Unfortunately, that kind of crap is got to be solved by the hardworking men and women of the Austin Police Department. And because it's bombs, I'm pretty sure the FBI will be called in due to domestic terrorism. My fear for all that ultimately boils down to someone like Alex Jones attempting to profit off of it by creating a fear-mongering situation in Austin. Because when it comes to Texas, especially due to political leanings, Austin is generally considered a blueberry in a big old bowl of tomato soup. But Alex Jones, Mr. InfoWars himself, is still located inside of Austin, Texas. So it makes it pretty funny that exactly is a thing of kind of where it's at. Now, you've also got, oh my God, the lady on Uber who was killed by the automated car. However, I believe it was her own fault. So that's a crazy situation. You've got what else is going on today? There's a lot going on today. The news, I feel, has been dominated predominantly on like left-leaning media by the whole Stormy Daniels story, which I'm not going to be covering that anymore unless there's a big bombshell. Lord knows I've already talked about that enough. Lord knows I've already spent a lot of time talking about this, so to speak. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Right, provided that that OBS here doesn't screw up again, because it might be jumping around here and there. For that, I do apologize. I don't know what the hell it's been doing that now for a while. But we're going to jump right into the news. If you want to donate to the show and help support it, help keep it alive, help keep it nightly, that would be # donate, or just streamlabs.com/mundane Matt. Help this bar get bigger. Help this bar get bigger. And otherwise, let's jump right into the crazy ass news right now surrounding Cambridge Analytica. So I like the headline of this Gizmodo article here. This time, Facebook really might be fucked. And if you are a Facebook user or a Facebook hater, I'm pretty sure part of you is like, really? I can have my life back, maybe? Maybe it will go away. Maybe it will die. But let's be realistic here. The likelihood of that actually happening is about slim to none, which is sad. I've ultimately at this point, I use Facebook to talk with my groups, but I don't really do much more on there. I share photos of my daughter, talk to my family and friends, but that's about it. And I don't do anything else Facebook wants me to do, because when it comes to live streaming, which they're doing now with PC games at least, the quality is crap, and I'll stick to Twitch. Thank you very much. But anyway, it says here, it's becoming increasingly clear that Facebook has never faced a scandal like the one it's currently fighting through. Revelations over the weekend about its reckless sharing of user data sent its stock price plunging on Monday, and fresh calls for regulations on the social media network are looking more real than ever. And here's the deal. I agree with that. I agree that these kind of social platforms, including even the internet itself, something that should be more regulated by the government. One of the reasons why I was actually very much in support of net neutrality, because I don't want certain companies to get all the power or to be able to overcharge some people into submission, which is kind of what that would be like. But Facebook being an open platform and one that's a social media company, a lot of people don't realize the impact that Facebook has on your day-to-day life, and people don't realize what exactly goes into making sure that it has that death grip on you, essentially, right? Because it kind of does. Nowadays, you're almost considered an unperson if you don't have a Facebook account, right? I've met people that are like, I'm not on Facebook, and I'm like, why? Right? And now I'm all like, no, good for you, sir. Good for you. Now, it says in the last few days, multiple outlets broke various facets about the story. Facebook has known since 2015 that Cambridge Analytica, a data mining company hired by President Trump's election campaign, improperly obtained the personal data of 50 million of the network's users, and the social giant failed to do anything about it. In a blog post on Friday, Facebook said it suspended the accounts of Cambridge Analytica and its parent company, SCL, while it investigates their alleged failure to comply with an agreement to delete the ill-gotten data. All of social media is data mining. All of it. All of it. If you're using Facebook and you see ads on Facebook, it's because they are, and it looks like it's tailored to you. It's because it's freaking tailored to you. They sift through your cookies. They sift through your search history. They sift through everything in order to be able to fine-tune advertisements that are best suited for you. That's one of the reasons why ad block is so popular, because in these kind of situations, it almost feels like it's needed. But not on YouTube videos. On YouTube videos, they're pesky and they don't need to be turned on. Wink. Okay, moving on. The particulars of this case are relatively complex, but the most important thing to understand is that Facebook collects an enormous amount of data about its users, and it lost control of that data. When it found out, it asked the bad actors responsible to promise they would delete the data. Now Facebook claims that Cambridge Analytica and SCL may have failed to fulfill that promise. Whatever you do, Facebook execs say, don't call this a breach. Well, obviously you don't want to call it a breach. That would just completely tank their stock price, considering that over 1 billion freaking people use Facebook. And if there was a breach and this data was in fact compromised, ho, they are screwed, man. They are totally screwed if that becomes a situation. And I hope not. I really do. We don't need another Ashley Madison breakdown in this particular case. I know we would find out some serious dirt if there was this kind of breach. We would. There would be some serious dirt. So after years of Facebook telling big shots to trust us when it comes to the ways it handles our data and targets us with advertising, a third party allegedly violated Facebook's trust. In the past, the company has met such scandals with a mixture of outright denials and promises to change, which is funny because Facebook has done the exact same thing in regards to, let's say, the Russian influence on the 2016 election. They're like, that never happened. That never happened. We never did. Okay, fine, you caught us. I'm sorry. We're gonna change. Jeez, God, grow up. Like, they're the same thing. So it's like they're no different here than Cambridge in this particular regard of, begging for forgiveness only when caught. Now, this morning, Reuters reported that Facebook stock fell more than 4% in pre-market trading. That trend has continued throughout the day, with the stock down 6.42% at the time of this writing. Ripple effects spread to the Dow and NASDAQ as well, and analysts are warning investors to stay away from buying the dip right now, according to Reuters. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It feels like it's going to be a feeding frenzy on Facebook stock, right? It's like, oh, damn, it's down. Get. but it could still continue to go down. Like this is, I know there's like the urge to jump in, to just kind of dive in and buy Facebook stock, but this is a big deal. This is a pretty solid big deal, because if Cambridge Analytica has broken Facebook's trust, who else has broken Facebook's trust? I don't want to go as far as to say like this is similar to the Equifax thing, but it feels similar to the Equifax thing, just without there being a quote unquote breach. Now, Reuters says here, one Wall Street analyst said reporters raised systemic problems with Facebook's business model, and a number said it could spur far deeper regulatory scrutiny of the platform. We think this episode is another indication of systemic problems at Facebook, said Brian Weiser, an analyst at New York-based brokerage Pivotal Research Group, which already has a sell rating on stock that rose 60% last year. Weiser argued that regulatory risks for the company would intensify, and enhanced use of data and advertising would be at greater risk than before. Yeah, it's going to get real weird when it comes to advertising on the internet here in the near future, I think. And it's one of the reasons why it is up to the fans. If you happen to enjoy what your favorite content creators make, you might want to look into supporting them financially, because the way that we make our money might actually be getting fucked with yet again by no fault of our own. Thanks, internet. Love ya. Anyway, it's true that Facebook has previously weathered similar storms by either outright denying any issue exists or promising to just keep tweaking the algorithm and rolling out new terms of service. But this time it feels different. Yeah, because this is like not something you can sit there and go, well, we made a mistake on. We totally there's that, right? And ultimately it boils down to the fact that no, it's just no, it does feel different, not the same thing at all. Because this is another company acting with malicious intent. The only way I can describe it is being Cambridge Analytica acted with malicious intent in order to data mine people. Whether or not it is for trying to help Trump win the election, or if it had any impact on Trump winning the election, that will have yet to be determined. I know there will be people on the left that will be screaming from the hilltops, "We got him! We got him!" Bow, 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 bow. But there are people on the right that are like, but with what evidence? And it's going to be like, damn it. In the center once more is going to be a thing. Going to be a thing in the center once more. So that's kind of the situation we're working with right now. Anyway, lawmakers around the world have vocally called for regulations, hearings, and investigations into this incident over the past few days, and more continue to chime in. New Jersey Rep. Frank Pallone insisted on Monday that the Energy and Commerce Committee must hold hearings soon. That follows Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar's demand that Mark Zuckerberg appear to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and Oregon Senator Ron Wyden grilling him with questions. One of my questions would be, so Mark Zuckerberg, why is it you sold off millions of dollars worth of Facebook stock last week, right? That's the thing. Why would you do that? Why would you do such a thing? And ultimately, why are you planning on selling off $12 billion more worth of stock? Is there a problem with your company, Mark? Now, on top of that, experts say that this case could easily be determined as a violation of the FTC's consent decree that resolved a previous privacy case in 2011. If FTC investigators decided to throw the book at Facebook, they could potentially levy trillions of dollars worth of fine at the company. And right now, considering that, I don't know, with the administration we find ourselves in, they might be looking at that. They're kind of like, hey, man, we need to really kind of get out of this debt we find ourselves in. This national debt's a pretty horrible thing. You want to fine Facebook like trillions of dollars and see what we can get out of Mark Zuckerberg? And the answer to that probably would be, yeah, sure, okay. Because it could be. British Prime Minister Theresa May released a statement on Monday expressing her concern about the story, and British Parliament member Damian Collins went further, saying, someone has to take responsibility for this. It's time for Mark Zuckerberg to stop hiding behind his Facebook page. Which, here's the thing, they're right. Every time there's a Facebook controversy, every single time it pops up, what you've got people out there like Mark Zuckerberg that just kind of hide behind the platform. And those days are very, very, very rapidly counting down to zero, being able to get away with that. It's not that this is like Equifax and 140 million Americans' identities are taken. And when I compared it kind of earlier, more like just kind of the information that could be out there in a nefarious way, depending on how it's used. But of course, it's not the same thing at all. This was not a hack. This was people just being douchey. And it's going to have an impact, and it's going to have a long-lasting impact. Now, in the past, Zuckerberg has typically addressed controversies with long essays on his personal Facebook page and promises to do better. But so far, the CEO has been quiet about this particular controversy. We've reached out to Facebook to ask if it has a time frame from when Zuckerberg plans to address the incident personally, and we'll update the post when he applies, or when he finally does it. Yeah, I mean, like, Zuckerberg may or may not address this directly right away. This is something from a 2015 that they learned about. So it's going to be like, what can we kind of maybe say that all the data is, it's fine or whatever, but there's not going to be an answer, I think, that Facebook is going to be able to give right here that's going to be really kind of looked at, right? I just don't think that they're going to be able to ultimately approach this in a way that's going to make people just kind of go, oh yeah, thanks, okay, yeah, we got you. But says here, but it's lawmakers above all that Facebook and its investors need to fear. Protracted investigations and hearings could have a chilling effect on the company's stock as uncertainty grows. And it will likely be alone in any fights against Washington as the tech giant looks for a sacrificial lamb to offer up in penance of its sins. And politicians around the globe are dealing with popularist uprising fueled by outside actors agitating through Facebook. In other words, they have an axe to grind. All the mega corporations of tech have misdeeds to account for, but Facebook is relatively unique in the ways that its platform has been used and the extremely personal information it collects. Christopher Wiley, the Cambridge Analytics employee who blew the whistle on the case, claimed in an interview that he made Steve Bannon's psychological warfare tool. While Wiley may have made the tool, it seems more and more clear that Mark Zuckerberg provided the steel, the forge, and the target. And that is a pretty damning statement right there, but it's also, in my opinion, aptly correct. I think it's aptly correct. And I'll tell you why I believe it's aptly correct. So what you've got here is you've got a situation where Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook have had a hell of a time lately in regards to the 2016 presidential election and how Facebook was used and so on and so forth. And they're under a huge microscope. This is not going to do well for their bottom line. I mean, even if you pop over here to, let's say, The Wrap, they have a delete Facebook movement gain steams after the whole thing's gone down. So people are on Facebook saying delete your Facebook. There are many people out there right now that are saying I've deleted my Facebook, and they post it from their Instagram account, which is funny because Facebook owns Instagram. So joke's on you, I guess. But here's the way I see it, because I want to kind of talk about this. I used to teach social media in Los Angeles and teach it to people in the entertainment industry. Facebook was really big in 2011, 2012. It's still big ultimately, but people really wanted to go viral. They wanted the stuff to work. What Cambridge Analytica was able to do was to target specialized data and then data mine on special targets essentially, and then go after them specifically in order to put that information in front of them. How many times do you know how, like, your grandparents or your parents use Facebook and they just share the stupidest crap? They don't ever really fully pay attention to what it is, but if it has anything to do with just like the slightest, remotest amount of confirmation bias, it's like share, and that's a lot of what happens. These memes, they go out, these videos, these GIFs, these whatever, they go out, and then they're targeted at certain people who are prone to look for this kind of stuff or be susceptible to this kind of content. And it's not to say that the people sharing it are bad. They're not. They're just sharing their opinion. It's what the platform is made for. It's one of the reasons why YouTube's going through a similar situation right now. This is how things were designed. This is the way that they want it all to come together. And unfortunately, it's just not looking good for Facebook. And I'm not going to shed a tear when it finally dies. Not one damn bit, because Facebook needs to get its crap in check, and people need to stand up against them and say, look, we like your platform, but we're not going to give you our data. If people care as much about their data as they claim, this is when you want to fight back. So yeah, I do fully recommend deleting your Facebook. I can't delete mine right now because I have a newborn, and if I delete it, then her family can't, extended family can't see it, so I'd be killed. But if you want to get out, now is the time. And Godspeed. Seriously, now's the time. Get out of Facebook. Get out of Facebook. Do it. Really, villain? You deleted your Facebook because you just posted on my my group? Like, 2 hours ago. So, I don't believe that at all. All right, let's jump over to the next one here. And I did see the comment in there about there being low audio. Let me just double check real quick. I did check it out early. Nope, it did drop down low again. Thank you very much. Okay. I've raised the audio level, and that should be a lot better. It was a little low, that one. I didn't realize that. It's Windows 10. Windows 10 likes to be a cunt. Send pics over Gmail. It's just, trust me, man. These people, they don't understand any of that crap. They want the simplest means of seeing pictures. Instagram is too bad. I could go, hey, you ever heard about fucking Snapchat? And they'll be like, no. And then they would just get confused, and it's a mess. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just fucking telling you, dog. All right. This will give me a fun one. Snaps for traps, y'all. Snaps for traps. Right now, we're living in the Me Too movement, right? We're living in the Me Too era, the Time's Up era, and I'm not gonna lie when I say this, nor do I say this inherently joking. Me Too is more like me-carthyism. And that term has been tossed around a little bit, sometimes in jokes, sometimes not. But what we see here from this title, petition calls on Matt Smith to donate part of his salary from the Crown to Time's Up. This is what I'm talking about here. A person, Matt Smith, an actor, well-known, well-loved, done nothing wrong here, hasn't been accused of sexual impropriety, hasn't been accused of, exposing his genitals to anybody. It's simply because he's making more money than the actress playing the Queen on Netflix's already overinflated budget show, The Crown. Now, if you know anything about Hollywood, it's pretty easy to tell how and why this came to be, but in the age of McCarthyism, what we're seeing now is an attack on, popular, well-known actors that are brought in because they're popular and well-known, and they get paid more as a result. It's the meritocracy of Hollywood. You have to earn it in order to get there, and Matt Smith did. Claire Foy, while good in the role, has not, and this is where we find ourselves. So it says here, the gender pay gaps are a problem when even the Queen isn't paid fairly, says the organizers of a public petition calling on actor Matt Smith to donate the difference between his and Claire Foy's salary from the Crown to the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. Now, first and foremost, the gender wage gap is an absolute provable myth. This is something that is undeniable, and if you have trouble believing that, I'm terribly sorry. You might want to seek therapy. Or Google the gender pay gap, which actually does exist. It's not the same as the wage gap, but they use wage because, quite frankly, it's easier to sell that on a t-shirt. That was probably made by women in a third world country that get paid 20 cents an hour to make your $25 shirt. How do you feel about that? #MeToo. Additionally, saying here that the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund. This is where it starts getting like kind of full-blown McCarthyism, in my opinion here. This is a defense fund that is being created as a way to file civil suits against alleged sexual harassers and sexual abusers in Hollywood. Now, listen, I am not against fighting back and trying to take these people down. In no way, shape, or form am I against that. However, civil court, where the preponderance of evidence of a claim is minuscule compared to that of a criminal court, this kind of Time's Up Legal Defense Fund is basically just a slush fund to point the finger and get instant judgment. They're like the Judge Dredd of Hollywood at this point, but they're judge, jury, executioner, and they want money in order to be able to do it because they want to go through civil court. And right now, given how everything is, they're likely to win, even with just there being a he said, she said statement and not anyone actually having gone to the police in order to file the report themselves. Now, I'm not saying that people haven't gone and done that. People have gone and done that, and more power to those who have. However, I view this as being, a negative blight on Hollywood moving forward. Now, it says here, the news that Smith, who plays Prince Philip in The Clown, was paid more than Foy, who plays Queen Elizabeth II, made headlines around the world last week. At a time when unequal pay for men and women was already in the spotlight, the Care2 petition to redress the imbalance is seeking 25,000 signatures and had 22,000 as of Monday. Care 2 is a social network for activists and campaigns for animal rights, women's rights, civil rights, and environmental and political issues. I should go on there for just, shits and giggles and create a petition to end circumcision in the West and just see what happens with that. Probably instant banning, because you can't talk about that here in this country. Anyway. Producers of the show, speaking at the INTV conference in Jerusalem last week, acknowledged Smith was paid more, saying he was a bigger name than Foy when The Crown was first produced. But they pledged that there would be a gender pay parity for the incoming cast in the series, which is heading into its 3rd and 4th seasons. Now, here's the way that The Crown works, and I don't know how many people know this. It is taking place over the course of Queen Elizabeth's tenure as the Queen, starting with each season basically being a 10-year period in which an actress will play her. So every 2 seasons, it will be a different actress. Claire Foy has done 2. I think she's out now. Matt Smith is out now, and the incoming cast is going to be played by different actors. Now, when it came to getting the show off the ground, the producers went to Netflix and they're like, hey guys, listen, we want to do this show. The show is big. The show is massive. It's about Queen Elizabeth. We got John Lithgow. We're going to get Matt Smith. It's going to sell the show because there's lots of Doctor Who fans out there. And so people rush for that because Matt Smith is, in fact, a bigger actor than Claire Foy. That's like going into Spider-Man and saying, like, hey, listen, we know that Tobey Maguire has been around since, like way back in the day, but we're going to give Kirsten Dunst more money because she was in, Bring It On and shit. Actually, that's probably what happened, to be fair. Oh, no, but here's the thing. Here's a good example. Terrence Phillip. Iron Man. That's a better example. In Iron Man, Terrence Phillip was the highest paid actor on that movie. Terrence Phillip. Not RDJ. Not Jeff Bridges. Not Gwyneth Paltrow. Terrence freaking Phillip. Why is that? Because Robert Downey Jr. was coming off of a very, very, very bad time in Hollywood in terms of his image. No one really cared much about Jeff Bridges at the time, even though The Big Lebowski is always popular. But Terrence Phillip had won an Academy Award for Hustle and Flow, or he was nominated or something. So at the time, he was a hot ticket item. People wanted him. He could get the money. That's how Hollywood works. It's not an unknown secret. It's well documented. But of course, when it comes to these kind of progressive antics, trying to call for this kind of change, like this Care 2 petition, they fail to acknowledge the cold, hard, simple truth that the system is what it is. It's not hiding anything that's deep and dark and treacherous, not on that front at least. But it's sad that this is kind of where we are. Now, it says here, neither Foy nor Smith have commented on the situation. Left Bank and Netflix have also not commented publicly because at this point, they're probably not going to. It's not really worth their time. It's not like Matt Smith was accused of sexually assaulting somebody, because then they would have had to respond. But this is just, kind of people being idiots on the internet. Now, it says here that women in all industries are facing a struggle for pay equality. The organizer of the petition, listed as Rebecca G., said, women in the U.S. typically earn 80 cents for every dollar paid to their male counterparts for full-time work, and the pay gap for women of color is even more striking. Black women make only 63 cents for every dollar paid to their white male counterparts, and Latina women only make 54 cents on average. All of that is easily refuted and clearly not accurate. But it's very much a talking point. It's very, very, very much buzzwords, buzz terms, and they're trying to use it here clearly as a way to push their agenda. And given the fact that we are in the Me Too era, in the Time's Up era, and people are living under the rule of McCarthyism, so to speak, this is where we find ourselves. Now, an earlier Care 2 petition, or Rebecca G. did add, that while it may be easy for some to dismiss gender pay disparity for already high-paid actors like Claire Foy, I believe that publicly addressing high-profile cases of sexism will also help create greater opportunities for women in all their careers. Everyone has to pay their dues in Hollywood. I don't think that's, again, an unfair statement to make. Everyone has to pay their dues in every field, and not everyone is going to have the same outcome. This is my biggest problem when it comes to the left, my problem when it comes to social justice warriors and progressive warriors, is the fact that they want not equality, but they want equity. They want that, and they want equality of outcome, not necessarily equality of opportunity, whereas I am of the exact opposite belief. I believe that everyone should have access to the same tools, the same education, the same ability to apply themselves, but not everyone is going to make it because not everyone is designed for the same thing. Trying to argue that Claire Foy, who is, yes, the title character in this particular show, is going to be paid more in the first round of payments based up against a large actor, a very well-known, very popular actor like Matt Smith, is quite frankly laughable. If I were ever to go into a job and they were like, hey, we want to put you up against George Clooney because you just got that chemistry, Matt, I'd be like, okay, cool. What you offering me? And they're going to be like peanuts compared to him. And I'll be like, done. Because you have to earn your way to a higher freaking pay grade. This is the problem with this kind of left-leaning nonsense. Now, it does go on to say that an earlier CareTo petition called on Mark Wahlberg to donate some of his earnings to the Time's Up movement after he was vastly paid more than co-star Michelle Williams to do reshoot scenes of All the Money in the World. The actor ultimately did donate his entire $1.5 million reshoot fee to Time's Up in Williams' name. And that, of course, was all done. And I mean all done under peer pressure. Right. He put in 1.5 million. His agent put in another 500,000. And it was literally to just make it all go away. That is one of the reasons why we're calling it the McCarthyism era, why we're calling it that. And that's because this is the mindset that's created. And listen, if you come here and you are mad at me for what I'm saying, I understand that. I do. I get it. I don't want any of this bad stuff to happen. But I'm also going to be pragmatic and realistic in my approach to this kind of stuff. What you're looking at here is a group of people that are trying to dictate how much people are paid or how much money other people make, or to shame them if their agent negotiates for a higher rate. It doesn't make any damn sense. You're asking for equality of outcome and not equality of opportunity. And I'm sorry, the system just doesn't work that way. All right, take a quick break there. Oh, stretch out a sec. Got 2 done, 2 to go. So yeah, it's some crazy shit right now. There's a lot of it can be right. Well, that depends if the Time's Up movement is a nonprofit or if it's a charity. I don't know the classification of it. So it could or could not be a write-off. No, Anna. Jonah Hill didn't work for free. Did he work for free or did he take a dramatically reduced? Let's see. No, Jonah Hill was paid $60,000 for Wolf of Wall Street. That's right. That's right. I had heard about that one. And everything else. Okay, there was something that popped up here. Okay, no. I saw something. Okay, we are good to go there. Remember, if you want to support the channel, help support independent media that's ultimately just a guy telling you what he thinks about what's going on the internet, streamlabs.com/Monday Matt, or command donate in the chat, and I'll give you all the relevant links to help keep me on the air. Because, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, in the case of Jonah Hill, when it came to that, he made 60 grand, but he wanted to work with Scorsese, and I don't freaking blame the guy for wanting to work with Scorsese. But that's definitely one of the problems we have right now, is that people out there are losing their goddamn mind about this kind of stuff, and it's wildly unfortunate, and I don't see it going away quite literally anytime soon. And so this is, yeah. Where did I flub up? What I flub? Midnight's Edge After Dark. What did I flub up? You got to tell me this. You got to hit me up, Tom. You got to tell me. You got to tell me what's going on, because you're fucking up my flow. You're fucking up my flow, Tom. Trying to get back to work, trying to get these next stories done. Did I say Terrence Phillip? Is that what I said? Is that what I said? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? South Park's better than Terrence. Terrence Howard's a douchebag anyway. So fuck him. I don't even care. But thank you. Yeah, I fucked that up. Okay. I don't read the chat while I'm fucking talking. it's hard to read the chat while I'm talking because I've got the screens up everywhere else, you know, and I'm trying to like not have my eyes get all shifty as I look around, right? I'm already called a dirty shill. I don't need any more of that kind of shit. Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker. You're the one that fucked your uncle, Uncle Fucker. You don't eat or sleep or mow the lawn. You just fuck your uncle all day long. When I brought my daughter home from the hospital, I did Skin on Skin with her. And I watched South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut and just sang the soundtrack. You know, I wanted her to hear me laugh and her to hear me being jovial. And since South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is probably one of my all-time favorite movies, I very much jumped on that shit. So you heard that Nicolas Cage is going to play Superman. Nicolas Cage is actually voicing Superman for an upcoming animated movie. So yes, in half you are correct. So there's I got to change the title of the thing. Okay. There we go. I got rushed on tonight to get shit done. I really should start pushing everything back to like 10 p.m. or some shit. But that is fine. It is unfortunate, but it is fine. So let's oops. Okay. Right. Okay. What are we looking at here? Okay, I think we're good. I'm just checking out some shit. There, I updated the page, so you'll see it now. You want to call in to do sexy talk? Well, I'm gonna do more call-ins. Last night was fun. I'm gonna do more call-ins and stuff. I think maybe once or twice a week. I just want to jump through the news and shit. Start off, just kind of rush through it. So, so there was. We'll have to do something like that. And we could talk all about world-class bullshitters and how they like to miscategorize, because that's what they like to do. They like to miscategorize things. All right, so let's talk about the next thing here, because this one's a little bit crazy. Snaps or traps, guys. Snaps or traps. Shit, I lost my place. I lost what I was gonna do. This is the problem with it. All right. As Facebook's controversy concerning Cambridge Analytica is in the news right now, we got this particular news story popping up that no one's really talking about, and that is here: university police are surveilling student social media in an attempt to make the campus safer. Now, in essence, this is not a bad thing, right? You want campus police to make the campus safer. That's why they're there. That's why they're paid. That's why they are, in essence, cops. No, really, I mean that legitimately. Like, campus police have the authority of police officers. So if you ever wonder why campus police, like, have arrested people, that's why. But when they surveil social media of students, I feel like that's a step too far, but maybe this will teach us that it's not. Maybe they're going to have a good, solid explanation here. Now, a very interesting article in Campus Safety magazine explores a disturbing practice we've been hearing more and more about. Schools and campuses are proactively surveilling students' social media accounts to find possible wrongdoings while it's happening or before it happens. If that idea troubles you, you're not alone. Yeah, because we're entering into a Minority Report pre-crime situation, and no one likes that. Just like no one liked Minority Report when it came out in like the summer of 2003. Sorry, Spielberg, that wasn't one of your best ones. Now, Campus Safety magazine reports that the University of Virginia contracts with a service called Social Sentinel for $18,500 a year to monitor its students' public social media posts. It works by scanning student social media accounts based on a library of harm of thousands of words curated by Social Sentinel, in addition to words tailored to the specific school contracting with them. Posts from students containing words on these lists are forwarded to the police, who then decide whether or not to investigate the students, which I ultimately, that does make sense. But at the same time, they're just paying a company 19 grand a year almost to just kind of like run search on Twitter, which is probably actually not as difficult as you might think, right? It's not as difficult as you might think. There are apps out there. For example, like Hootsuite is one that I do frequently use, and I have now for about 7 years, or almost 8 years actually. And what I do with Hootsuite is you can look to see what's in your general vicinity. So, and you can go 1 mile, 3 miles, 5 miles, etc., or custom however long, and it will geotag, look at the geotags of all the tweets and show you what's all happening around there. And so that's ultimately what I feel like this particular company is doing. They're charging you 19 grand to just look through feeds to look for certain trigger words. And then those words will then probably raise a flag, and then those are what they view and they hand over to the police that way. It's a very simple thing, and you figure, you know, $18,500 a year divided by 12, it's a little over $1,000 a month. But just imagine what else they're finding, what else they're seeing, and what else they're getting access to, and everything else. And that can be a problem, especially if it is being used by the wrong people. Now, it says here that we look at a whole context of the post, said University of Virginia police officer and crime analyst Beth Davis. And therein lies the major problem. The whole context of a post is almost never available to someone as far removed from the post as an officer or school administrator reading it. Innocuous or inside jokes and a whole host of other protected speech will often be completely lost on them and could appear threatening without that crucial context. Now, just that paragraph alone, by the way, just that paragraph alone summarizes a lot of the BS that goes on Twitter when you're cracking them jokes, when you're trying to bant, when you're trying to make people laugh. You have any idea how many times I've been suspended on Twitter because I called a friend a cunt? Quite a few 12-hour suspensions. Yeah. So I get it. The whole context matters. Also, YouTube and the demonetization situation, context matters. And that's, I think, where we are right now in terms of social media and dealing with all of that is very much the situation surrounding context and who there is going to interpret the context. And are they able to interpret the context? Are they able to understand the context? We literally have no idea at this point. And it's kind of just a toss-up. And I don't like that at all. Now, it says here, you have to translate the old mentality of see something, say something, to seeing threats online and reporting them and acting on them if necessary, said Officer Ben Rexroad, Community Service and Crime Prevention Coordinator for the University of Virginia Police. And of course, he's right that threats should be reported to the police. Students should be encouraged to report threatening social media posts, and police should take those reports seriously. But police surveillance also differs from simply encouraging members of the public to report suspicious behavior. For example, when a student sees something on social media and reports it to the police, they're doing so usually because they have the context to understand the post and still find it threatening, which is very true. It is. I mean, I've gotten death threats on Twitter that I have sent off to be reported on, and maybe it was missing context at the time or something, but they've been like, nah, you're fine. Like, what? Like, okay, this is weird, you know? The crucial difference between a report from an algorithm and from a student is that when a student reports it to the police, they are exercising their judgment to decide if that tweet could be threatening, and then the police are using their judgment about whether or not to investigate. Forwarding any post that pings an algorithm to police and then having police make a judgment about its context eliminates from the equation those most capable of judging a social media post's context, the post's audience. It's a scattershot tactic in an arena where precision is paramount, and that is so freaking true. Like, that is so true. Look, content is king, obviously, when it comes to most things, but context is God. And if that context is not there, I mean, look at how many times people have been fired for losing a job over a joke. Look at how many times people have been vilified over something that they said that was taken wholeheartedly out of context, right? Like, go back 3 years almost now. Mad Max Fury Road is on its way to coming out, and you had all these progressive blogs that were saying, like, oh, the men's rights activists are saying that this is a feminist movie, and therefore have called for the boycott. And the men's rights activists were just like, no, we didn't do that. And they're like, no, it's all you men's rights activists. You are all women haters, and that is the end of that. But the context of that particular story was one that no one looked into. It wasn't a group of MRAs. It was one asshole. One guy named Matt Forney, writer for Return of Kings, a pickup artist website, who, in their About section, comes out and says, yeah, we really dislike MRAs. But because of the lack of context and the quick to judge, it created this huge hoopla, this huge crazy thing that ultimately benefited no one. And I had to sit there forever on Facebook and argue with people about the facts of the situation because they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to be a part of it. They didn't want to be around them at all. They just were like, well, men's rights activists hate women. No, men's rights activists disagree with the tenets of modern day feminism and how family courts treat men and a lot of other issues involving men. They're just sexist. Sure. Okay. After a while, you just got to stop because you're just like, oh, Jesus, like, you might be able to reach a couple people. And I did. I feel pretty good about that. But at the same time, context freaking matters. Now, the officers may be able to intuitively eliminate some false positives that the algorithm spits out, such as students tweeting about good shots at a sporting event, as mentioned in the article. However, since their job is keeping the campus safe, they are incentivized to investigate borderline cases, and that incentive works to increase the number of false positives. Now, that's a hard thing because they want to investigate more, but then they're going to realize that more and more and more are false positives, which then is going to take up time and resources and maybe take away from actual crimes that have been committed. And ultimately, it's not going to be something that is going to be looked at as being beneficial to trying to keep a safe campus. But because they've paid for the service and they want to investigate, they're kind of stuck doing it. So it becomes this system, this cycle, this loop on repeat where nothing ever really changes except for the occasional, we got one. Right? It says here, but what's the harm in that, you may ask? Put yourself in the shoes of a student on campus. What would you do if you were aware that anything you post may be flagged by the school administration or police for containing one of the thousands of keywords in Social Sentinel's library of harm? Do you make the decision to tweet less? Do you restrict your posts to friends only? It seems hard to imagine how you could moderate your tweets to avoid thousands of words when you have no idea what they are. Man, this thing's like speaking to me. This is all freaking like YouTube, right? Apply this same logic to the YouTube demonetization situation, and it's just like, it's right freaking there. How can we be expected to change? How can we be expected to work in line with what they want us to do when we don't know the parameters? And students are the exact same. The last thing you want is to go around accusing students of being racist, sexist terrorists, because then it's going to cause them to freak out over what they post online, wondering if they're going to get a knock on their door at 2 a.m. from a cop saying like, excuse me, Becca, did you say that you were going to kill Becca G? Okay. Like, you're Becca H, she's Becca G. All right. Like, you got to stop that. It's the 4th time this month. It's like, I wasn't going to like kill her. She was like, I caught her blowing my boyfriend. So I just vented, like, get a new boyfriend, Becca. Like that whole thing, like that kind of nonsense. I don't really know where I'm going with that one. Anyway, and assumed you get flagged and questioned by the police, many people would probably change their behavior. And while people might want to be more mindful of what they post publicly online, fear of police in their school monitoring them and misinterpreting their messages shouldn't be students have to navigate, which I completely agree with, as well as this expanding past college campuses and moving into the real world. I feel like this is kind of like catering to snowflakes, essentially. In many cases, students aren't even aware that they're being surveilled. Like in the Georgia Institute of Technology, student Matthew Wolfson, who, as mentioned in the previous article, only discovered the university had been tracking and archiving his social media posts when he requested his records. If there was one thing creepier than an all-encompassing social media surveillance, it's secret all-encompassing social media surveillance. And how could you change your posts if you knew you could end up with your student records? Right? Or if you knew they could end up with your student records. And that is pretty creepy. Now, it says there's no question where this will lead, or no question of where this will lead. Will we see schools begin to use social media monitoring to enforce unconstitutional speech codes that are all too common? It's impossible to say for sure, but it must be tempting as schools look to justify the tens of thousands of dollars that they spend on these programs, which is very, very, very true. We've already seen this on social media. There was Yak, which was a social media app for colleges that ultimately, due to hate speech, was closed down. It was basically banned on college campuses, and it's no more. And it was predominantly used just in colleges and universities. These kind of tactics that we see from the regressive left or the progressive left or just the whatever, these are the kind of people that want to limit speech. People like Francesca Ramsey that want to limit speech, all while trying to argue that they're in fact expanding speech because a couple new words get created in the place of the other words that are being banned or being shunned in public. This should not be allowed to happen. And this is not the first time, too. Cops have been known for years to create false Facebook accounts in order to befriend certain members, fraternities and whatnot, or partiers on campus in order to gain access to their social media posts to discover whether or not they're doing drugs or drinking alcohol underage. And then when there's photo evidence of this, because let's face it, kids are dumb and they take pictures of everything, they go and they bust them for it. Now, I find that to be far more invasive than this, but this is still not anywhere better. Now, it says here there's no guarantee that the list of words only include words signaling potential behaviors that are threatening to others. Could references to private drug use be included in the list? Until the list and the protocols for proceeding on the surveillance are made public, we are really left to blindly trust those in power who are running this expansive surveillance system. The free exchange of ideas on campus is an invaluable and irreplaceable part of the ideal college experience, and the chilling effect of student social media surveillance actively undermines that. It goes without saying that the goal of making campus safer is laudable, and in this day and age, campus safety is a hot-button issue. But not all solutions are equal, and these blanket surveillance programs are a bridge too far. And I cannot agree more with Rin Weiss's statement here. This is relatively frightening. This is scary. And this, of course, is a reality. You've got the University of Virginia and other places paying 19 grand a year to a company that's created an algorithm to look for certain hot button words or hot topic words or banned words, essentially. And then when that happens, they forward that information off to the police, and the police, who are probably not even trained in how to understand a lot of what's going on with social media these days. I'm sure many of them grew up with this as well, so they probably have a better understanding than they did 10 years ago. But then they're left to interpret the context. And that's just pretty bad. I don't like any of that, and I hope these programs go away faster than they got started. Sorry, I'm on a roll tonight, so it's kind of like it's just coming out of me. I'm trying to make the video shorter, but that ain't happening. So, yeah, all right. Last story here. Let me just, this is a short one. We'll be good. Well, we'll be good here. All right. Okay. Snaps or traps, guys. Snaps or traps. How do I even start this thing? How do I even start this goddamn thing? Okay. Sorry, I'm fucking up. One of my favorite jokes from the comedian Jamar is when he had a reference to sex, especially pulling out. And he says, look, you pull out, you make a map of Hawaii on her stomach. I've always found that to be funny, and I've used it frequently over the course of the past, I want to say, probably around 18 years since I read that particular line. I think it's really funny. But the idea there is that you want to pull out, make a map of Hawaii on a woman's stomach or back or tits or face in order to basically not get her pregnant. Because pregnancy is a scary, scary thing. Something I've recently experienced. On the other end of that, at least. But hey, I got my daughter. My daughter's gorgeous. But here, we've always been talking about the question about the male contraceptive pill. Is it a reality? Can it ever be a reality? Or is it like the great white buffalo? Just a myth, a legend, one of those things. But according to this study here, or this new thing, male contraceptive pill is safe to use and does not harm sex drive. And this is coming from a clinical trial. Now, that's something to consider, right? It reduces your sperm count to 0, but it doesn't harm your sex drive, which is good. Because when you realize that you're firing off blanks and you have no chance of even remotely getting a girl pregnant, you don't have to do what we would call pulling a Warski, which is good. Now, a male contraceptive pill has been developed, which is effective, safe, and does not harm the sex drive, scientists have announced. And I always love it when those words are combined together. Scientists have discovered that We've done some cool things when it comes to male reproductive rights, meaning you don't have to do it, but you can still get all the benefits from it. It's kind of like Splenda. Tastes like sugar, isn't really sugar. Now, in what has been described as a major step forward, the drug was successfully tested on 83 men for a month for the first time. So far, efforts to create a once-daily pill to mimic the mainstream female contraceptive has stalled because men metabolize and clear out the hormones it delivers too quickly. And that is definitely something that's been a problem here. It's like it's not like the Depot shot or this kind of pill. It's like it's just, yeah, it doesn't stay in there as long, and now they might have been able to figure out a way to do that. I'm kind of surprised they didn't figure out a way to make this stuff kind of tie into your fat, because it just kind of sucked up and absorbed in there and whatnot. I don't know. I'm just kind of talking on my ass on this one. So anyway, it means that temporary male contraception has relied on condoms alone, with the main hopes for future contraceptive developments resting on a long-acting injection or topical gel, both of which are also under development. And here's something to consider too. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been working on contraceptive plans, but one of them was a radio frequency, kind of an RFID chip that would go inside of a woman's hoo-hoo in order to then prevent her from, well, getting pregnant. It would radio remote control her uterus when the eggs drop out of the tubes and stuff. Don't quite know what the update is on that. It's been a couple years. But the idea there essentially is that people have been trying to find new scientific ways to keep you from getting pregnant, right? And even though Japan right now and in other countries are kind of feeling that, the low birth rate and whatnot, here in America, people are just like, no, sign me up. Sign me up. Now, it says, however, the new drug called thandronolone, whatever, or DMAO, includes a long-chain fatty acid, which slows down on the clearance, allowing just one dose to be taken each day. I called it. It's called it. It's going to be in the fat. It's always going to be in the fat. Like the pill for women, the experimental pill combines activity of androgen, the male hormone such as testosterone, and progestin. Investigators at the University of Washington Medical Center tested 3 doses of DMAO, 100, 200, 400 milligrams, on 100 healthy men between the ages of 18 and 50 years old, 83 of whom completed the study, which is actually not bad. Actually not bad at all. Now, it says here they were first subject to blood sampling for hormone and cholesterol testing, and on the first and last days of the study, and the highest dose of DMAO tested was 400 milligrams. Subjects showed marked suppression of levels in their testosterone and 2 hormones required for sperm production. The results showed that the pill worked only if taken with food. Despite having low levels of circulating testosterone, very few subjects reported symptoms consistent with testosterone deficiency or excess. This coming from Professor Stephanie Page, the senior investigator on the study. Now, that's kind of funny. I'm just, you figure you would have been a guy trying to figure this whole thing out, but really you got like a woman whose entire job is to like look at the sperm count and 83 men firing off knuckle children, right? Like her entire job is basically just like Stormy Daniels, but she gets paid probably a whole hell of a lot less. Now, she says here that these promising results are unprecedented in the development of a prototype male pill. All groups taking DMAO have experienced some weight gain as well as decreases in HDL, which would be good cholesterol. Yeah, weight gain is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. But hey, we live in America where like obesity is now kind of the norm. So, if you're going to take this pill, hit the gym a little bit more. You might get on a little bit of weight, but you're going to be slowly getting rid of it. Now, however, all the subjects passed their safety tests, including markers for liver and kidney function. DMAO is a major step forward in the development of a once-daily male pill, which is good, really good. I know a lot of guys that would love that in a heartbeat. Like, you get to a point too where you're just like, I don't want to have kids right now. I can take this pill, but the problem with it is though, is that it takes time to kick in. Like my nephew was born, or conceived, I should say, as a result of not fully paying attention to when the pill was taken or the shot was taken or something. And it was kind of like, my sister wasn't really paying attention, which doesn't ultimately surprise me knowing my sister. But at the same time, it's kind of like, hey, you want to get on this birth control? And then like, sure, okie dokie. And then, 9 months later, my nephew comes out and, he's a very sweet kid. I love him to death. So it's so it says many men would prefer a daily pill as a reversible contraceptive rather than long-acting injections or topical gels. Contraceptive pills for females have been around for almost 70 years, although only achieved widespread use in Britain, including the availability on the NHS in 1961. However, other than the condom, which were first invented in 1855, there have never been a temporary male contraceptive. And the thing is, we need more of that. Especially, I think, in this day and age, where you got the fear, and it's just a fear, but it's a fear, where you've got women that might possibly, try to hijack your sperm jacking, to get pregnant. It's happened, right? But if you're taking this and you don't tell them that, and then if they get pregnant, you're like, no, I'm on the male pill. That's why I was weeping at a rerun of Downton Abbey last week. It's so good. But the point is, essentially, this is going to go a long way to ultimately destroy the Maury Povich show. And I think that's okay. Or really kind of like nail it down, right? Really can narrow down those particular paternity episodes. But then again, that is some fun daytime television. But a male contraceptive pill is something we all should champion. We really should. If women have the opportunity to take the pill or have the choice of whether or not how they want to proceed with the pregnancy or not proceed with the pregnancy, men need something similar to that, and that's not just a condom. Condoms are not 100% effective. We know about this. We know that there's sabotage in condoms every once in a while, and it can happen on both genders. And as a result of that, unwanted children, it's not their fault that they kind of got caught up in the situation, but these kind of things can now be prevented by a once-a-day pill. And yeah, I'm actually 100% all for that. Whew. All right. That was fun, right? That was good. All right. Daytime TV. What about Jeff Holiday? Jeff is in LA right now. In LA tomorrow, he's shooting Dr. Phil, I believe. So he's going down. Yeah, that's a big thing. That's getting on the Dr. Phil, man. That's a pretty good situation, right? So that's something to kind of strive to, right? So all right, look up Vasogel. Vasogel, yeah. I've heard of Vasogel. Let's see. That's but that's the gel. That's like not a pill. You know what I mean? Like not everyone's gonna want to like lube up with a pill and shit. Like, oh, just get in there and do my thing. Not always gonna be what everyone's into. So yeah. So that's it. That's all the stories I got. We got through it in about an hour. So if you guys got any questions, we can chit chat for a while. I wasn't planning on doing a call-in, so we can just chit-chat and talk for about maybe a half hour or so. I'm really exhausted tonight, so I'm probably not looking to do the full 2 hours, but an hour and a half seems fine, which is kind of unfortunate because I want to get... let me take a look here at Twitch and what they're telling me in terms of achievements for becoming an affiliate. I think tonight's like the last night. Oh, okay. I think I've already got it locked down. All right, yeah. So I can apply to be a Twitch affiliate, but it turns out that I need a lot more things in order to become a partner. Path to partnership. I need to stream for 25 hours, and I've currently done half of that in 30 days. I need to stream for 12 unique days. Well, I've already got, this would be the 7th unique day. And then get 75 average viewers, which I have definitely done. So I think I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty goddamn fan-fucking motherfucking tastic. So there's definitely that. So let's see here. Enable. Oh, cool. I can. Cool. I can do. I don't know, kind of how to do all this shit. Okay, I guess I get started. Demetrius, I'll take care of that later on. Better start streaming to get longer to get that Twitch affiliate. Not heroic idiot. I can apply right now. So, I can apply right now because I've been doing it now for a week and do about, hour to 2.5 hours and whatnot. So there's definitely that, and that's gonna help me, I think, in the long run here. Although I'm trying to set up two-factor authentication, and it's all like, nope, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all, man. I don't want you to get two-factor authentication. So planning on continue reading Last Jedi. Yeah, Microjack, I am, man. I really am. This last week, like I just been so fucking tired with the kid, and then doing the thing is like doing this stream 5 nights a week, doing 3-book theater content. It's tiring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably not go on camera. Like I'm just gonna do audio for those kind of things because, quite frankly, I don't think anyone cares. People would just listen to it anyway, and I can sit here. I don't need to like get dressed up to do my hair, to shave, to make sure everything's all good, to talk about that. So there's definitely Jeff, read it so I don't have to buy it. Yeah. I need to. So Philip K. Dick can be, yeah. No, I know Philip K. Dick can be hard to adapt. I get that. I do get that. But remember, guys, if you want to help support the channel while we talk about a bunch of shit, # donate. Soon there will be bits. Yeah, there's going to be bits. I don't even know how that really works, but okay. I don't know. All right. So, let's see. I guess that's working there. I don't fucking know. This is all crazy stuff. I'm just, there we go. Cool beans. Okay, how warm is my area? What you ask here? How warm is my area? My area is fine. 3-buck theater sans pants. Yeah. I mean, I got pants on right now. I am warm. I'm very flush all the time. What the hell is this right here? Must have my kid. It's been raining in Cali. It's been really, really pretty here. Like all day. It's been really pretty the last couple of days, which is awesome. So if it's raining in California, y'all can go suck it. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm totally fine with raining in California because it needs to happen. It absolutely, positively needs to happen more often. And you all need it down there because we're going to be hitting fire season again, and it's going to get really, really, really bad. And I hope that everything is okay. 1 second. All right, on that one. Ugh. I know, I'm trying to do this real quick. Ugh, come on. I'm like just trying. Oh no, I don't live in Virginia. Cool. Let's see. Yeah, rain in California was a surprise. Fire season tends to be worse after a lot of rain. It depends. It depends on how much there is. It's just drizzling in San Diego. Oh, I miss San Diego. Where in San Diego are you, Daka? Where in the San Diegos are you, man? Okay, so I have to submit. Okay, I'll come back for the tax incentive shit. That's all like, what the hell? It's all like, I don't understand that at all. Okay, hold on here. What the fuck, man? I don't care about this shit. Go to my channel. There we go. Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm still trying to understand Twitch, you know. Still trying to understand it. It's definitely an issue. So, okay, I think we're good. Oh, cool. Okay. Let's take a look here. Oh, fuck. Come on. There we go. Do I follow pro wrestling? I do not. To understand Twitch should be naked with your titties out. Yeah, I hear that's the thing. I hear that's a reality that a lot of people have to go through. So that's unfortunate. That is super unfortunate because, you know, you just want to keep the titties. Keep the titties to yourself. No, Twitch is asking about tax stuff because when you get bits, you're going to be like an independent contractor. It's kind of like through YouTube. What happens there essentially is that they sit there and they take you. So someone pays them and then they pay you. That's how it works. And as a result of that, it becomes a you have to I have to my tax information is with Google. So at the end of the year, Google will send me my W-2. You hate cam whores? There's a lot of cam whores, man. There are a lot of cam whores. And I can understand it. Like, I understand why there's a lot of cam whores. But at the same time, it's it's a lucrative market. Like, I mean, it's one of those moments where you're like, hey, if you got it, shake what God gave you and shit, right? Like, get on there and be like, yeah, just show me what you got, man. Show me what you got, what you're working with. And there's a lot of very, very, very popular cam whores out there that make a lot of money. And then they move over to streaming. So what they do is they stream video games in the daytime and they do the porn stuff at night, or vice versa. And they're able to hit two markets like that. Like, isn't Clara Baby Legs, like, she's doing like softcore now, isn't she? I've seen some stuff floating around, which tends to be a thing. So apparently one of the Twitch staff watches the cam girls. Oh, I'm pretty sure they do. Lubricant and tissue paper right there on hand. What's up, Chelsea? How are you? Hey, if you can make a six figure showing off your tits and your pussy, why the hell not? No. Hey, I ain't knocking it, man. I ain't knocking it at all. That's a hustle. That's a solid hustle. Hustling is something you got to do. Yeah, Anubis, I covered Toys R Us closing last week. And, unfortunately, that is a thing. That's a really crappy part of it. And I did see that KB Toys is actually talking about coming in and saving it, right? Like, so if KB, because what you have to understand is Bain Capital and a couple other companies that bought out Toys R Us in 2012 saddled it with like $5.3 billion in debt. I mean, they just destroyed. As soon as they got it, it was already like, its inevitable death was in the bag. But if KB Toys comes in and can rescue Toys R Us, I'll be happy with that. No. Lego is doing quite well. Lego is fine. GVC. So the Library of Congress has a staff that does copyright for porn movies. Yep, that is very true. Did I hear about John Kennedy's fake net neutrality bill? I did not. It'd be good if KB Toys comes back. I liked KB Toys when I was younger. Yeah, I was all down for that shit. Like, fuck yeah. KB Toys, fuck yeah. Come on again to save your motherfucking childhood. KB Toys, fuck yeah. I don't know if KB Toys, it still apparently exists, so there is that at least. Let's see. KB Toys is planning comeback after Toys R Us demise. Yep, seems all right. So, oh man. But yeah, it's it's so much crap, so much crap going on here. So. Okay, yeah. So I've now been accepted into the Twitch affiliate. So tomorrow night will be a whole different ball game, I think. Circuit City is going to come back. You know what? I would take Circuit City. I always enjoyed Circuit City. I really did. I always liked Circuit City quite a bit, and I would very much love to see it come back in some. I mean, Best Buy is essentially Circuit City, so that's kind of dumb. But Circuit City was always kind of my jam, growing up at least. And then it went away, and I just, you forget about it. That's kind of what happens. Radio Shack was just like, you go there for specific parts. But it was always so overpriced. When can we give that Twitch sub? Do you need to be a partner for that, or just an affiliate? I got no fucking idea. I'm going to finish setting it up when this whole thing's over, because I'm only going to be on like another 15 minutes, so. Oh, you liked Circuit City till the last few years of it? I agree. Comp USA was a lot of fun. I was bummed when they closed Comp USA. So yeah, I'm hoping that that kind of stuff comes back. I mean, I don't think it will because there's no market for it, right? Like the toy store works because instant gratification with kids. But when it comes to getting computer components, people are willing to wait like a day, you know? So I don't think it's going to be coming back at all. You remember when GameStop was in garbage? Are you saying you remember when GameStop was Babbage's? Is that what you're saying? All right, later on, Road Dog Gamer, thanks for coming in, man. They need to bring back computer shows. Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. I think they need to. I do. But there's a lot of content like that here on YouTube and stuff. It's just a vape pen. It's just a standard vape pen. It says it's vitamin B12, but it's really not. It's just a vape pen. I don't. It's just vape is nothing else. It's nothing else. I'm on the as I always like to say, I'm on the midnight stream for my kids, so I got to stay up a little bit later for her. So I like to be nice and sober. So that definitely helps out. But I think I'm getting closer here. I'm getting closer right now. We got 1,942 followers on Twitch. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Hopefully going to be hitting the 2,000 here in the next week. That'd be pretty good. Oh, Discovery Zone. That was a lot of fun. Didn't I do the Rodney's World videos? I did. Yes, I did that about 10 years ago now. A little over 9 years ago. And it's never coming back. I've got the first episode. That's all I've got. I deleted the YouTube channel years ago. What would I rather smoke? Tobacco, vape, or weed? Probably vape. I'd be better off with vape. So, it's midnight. Oh, it's 5 in the morning where you are. Well, yeah. It's that. You want me to do Rodney? Oh, come on, man. It's been so long since I've done the fucking voice. Like, hey everyone. It's like, hey everyone, it's me. It's Rodney. Like, how's it going? Okay, it's going pretty good. All right, good. Yeah. It's not. That's not it. I have to really work at it though. There's a YouTube channel called Company Man. He does videos on declining companies and companies that went out of business. That's interesting. You saw a video about Mass Effect doing what EA wanted to cash in during the first few weeks. That does kind of make sense, but at the same time, long-term gameplay is still a thing. I mean, what is it? Like, you can find, I saw Mass Effect Andromeda for like $10, right, on PS4. And I was like, nah. Nah, not going to do it. So that's interesting. I'll have to go check that one out. I wish I had the patience to do more documentary style stuff, right? Like I'm trying with $3 Theater to like not read the articles and like just talk about it, like get myself back in the habit of that, and then maybe try to find a way to do it over here. But doing a show where it's like, I mean, remembering like 5 articles worth of shit and not having like copious notes there and like reading off. I mean, I could do something along those lines, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, would you guys want to see more stuff like that where it's like me not reading the article? But then again, people out there do like it when I read the article because it gives them the context of what I'm talking about. So it's kind of a tough one. Yeah, free is too much for Andromeda. Company Man is a bit like Kim Justice. Love both, but it's so much information presented very well. Have anyone ever seen, is it like Mr. Moon or whatever it is? It's a Mr. Moon YouTube. Yeah, yeah, he does R-play. He does role play stuff.
How did you become a...
Yeah. This guy does fucking role play shit all the goddamn time. I've been watching him. I haven't watched him in a while. He did a bunch of good DayZ shit. These videos are fucking funny though. Like, they are fucking funny. I recommend them quite a bit if you're looking to check anything out. Go check out Mr. Moon. Does a lot of crazy stuff, right? A lot of crazy shit that goes on with this guy, and it works out okay, man. It works out okay. But yeah, no, it's You love my, you love my discussions with Midnight's Edge. Thank you. Yeah, I think the last one I did was the Last Jedi. That was the last one I did. And they're good guys. They're good guys. Totally do different stuff. Like I should talk to them about doing a documentary about what happened to Justice League. You know, like offer to like narrate a documentary or do research on it. So have I heard about Geek Squad being tattletales for the FBI? Chuck is real. Harry K5. Go to my YouTube channel. I did a video on it like last weekend. So yeah, no, I heard about it like 2 weeks ago. Did I know that there's a Keemstar that gossips about luxury handbag shoe vloggers? How specific of a garden gnome is that? I've thought about getting into the whole YouTube drama thing. Like, let's get right into the news, something along those lines. And then I realized I'm not really interested in a lot of the drama. But the thing is, when it comes to clicks and views and subs and shit, it's a really good thing. People like that kind of crap. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I just don't want to do it. I like the crazier news. Like I got these stories, last night after we were done. There was another one here about a tech billionaire who's paying to be killed so the contents of his brain can be digitally uploaded and preserved forever. I'm saving that one for tomorrow. So like, that's something, to consider here. But here's the thing, guys, come on. Here, I'm going to chill a little bit. I got 10 minutes left. I got $3.50, $3.50 to get to $100. $3.50. This is a perfect time for somebody to pull out a South Park reference and give me that $100. Give me that $100. Do it. There we go. Had to chill. It's part of my job. So yeah, I'll be doing that video tomorrow. And stuff. That will be a thing. That will be coming out. And I need about $3.50. So of course I'm a whore. You want to see me wrestle Review Tech naked? That's not gonna happen. But if I make it out to New York next year, which I'm hoping to, then I'll meet up with them and shit. I actually keep hoping that they're gonna, like, they got VidCon in Anaheim, but I'd love there to be VidCon in New York, because it would give me an excuse to go to New York, which would be cool, man. I'm the Loch Ness Monster. I knew it. That's right. I got a dorsal fin you can't see, but it's in my front. It's called my penis. Helps me glide through the water. Just waving. No, I'd like to meet. I'd like to meet Rich. There's a lot of New York-based YouTubers I'd like to meet, and everything else. I'd love to go to like New York Comic-Con or something. It's just it's so difficult getting across country, like especially now. And so I'm hoping in the next, I'm hoping that like $3 Theater picks up. Which, here's the thing, on its own, it's doing pretty well. Like I haven't posted in a couple days, and it's still bringing them in. So that Star Wars content is good. That's why I keep making Star Wars content. And ultimately, like, that's doing okay. And I want to like pay off my card this year, and I want to pay down my credit cards and pay out back some debt, and then go from there. So screw you guys, I'm going home. Did I see John Tron's reaction to episode 8? I did not. Yeah, I know. If only there was a VidCon East. Well, here's the thing is I think there will be, because VidCon just sold out to Viacom, right? And I did cover that a couple weeks ago. VidCon sold out to Viacom. And as a result of that, they are going to be corporatizing it. And since the idea of VidCon is just a place where people get together, hang out, and chill anyway, like, here's the deal. You talk to anyone who goes to VidCon and you're like, so, did you come here predominantly for the conference? They're going to be like, fuck no. I came here to see my friends and get fucking wasted, bitch. That's all they care about. Right? It's just, it's a venue that's happening. It's an excuse to go. So you do that in the East. Like tonight, a few of us have already, we're getting our Airbnb ready to go. And honestly, I dropped like my hotel room last summer for VidCon. It was like $909 for 5 days. It really isn't that bad if you think about it. But $909 for 5 days. And this time I can get an Airbnb for like 350. Here's that number again. See, I'm adding it in there. I can get that number. I can get down, like, I can get a hotel for a week for like 350. I'm down. I'm down. Before Anita is not on the guest speakers list this year. I haven't seen her on there. I don't think she's going to. I think after everything. I think after everything happened last year, she's not going to go. What are my views on Starship Troopers? Man, I love that movie. I'm sorry, I do. I don't hate that movie at all. It's, 1997 was a glorious year. That movie was fantastic. I understand that Verhoeven changed a lot from the book. I get that. I do get that. But at the same time, I think the two can be separated. I also enjoyed the TV show and everything else. So, is Boogie on the speakers list? I haven't seen Boogie on there yet, but then again, I don't know all of their agenda. Anita has ascended past the garbage humans. That is true. So I know the book. I've heard the book was good, but the movie is just, it's the movie. The movie's good. You got to separate book from movie, right? It's kind of like Tomb Raider, the movie, right? The movie is thematically similar to the game, a little bit. It gets a little Indiana Jones Last Crusade towards the end, which is fine with me. But at the same time, because I love the Tomb Raider reboot from 2013. Like, I freaking love that game. So I really liked what they did with the movie, because there's two separate things. I can enjoy both, and I did. So everyone fights, no one quits. Rat Jack's Roughnecks. Rico's Roughnecks. Jake Busey was great in that movie. So was Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, fucking Denise Richards. If you get the DVD, or now it's the Blu-ray, there's a deleted scene where her and Johnny Rico have sex, and he's like sucking on her boobs for like 2 minutes, and you're just like, yeah, like that Jack Nicholson gif, like, yeah. I was like 15 when that movie came out, so yeah. That's my O face, by the way. Unpopular opinion. I think Godzilla 98 would have been better received if it wasn't Godzilla in the title. Sure. How about this? I'll one up you. Godzilla 98 would have been better if they just would have called it Jurassic Park 3. Think about that one for a hot second. So yeah, you remember that one deleted scene. Exactly. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Go to VidCon Europe. It gives you a reason to go to Amsterdam and write off on my taxes. Yeah, exactly. Everything I do is a write off on my taxes. Everything. If I remember to keep my receipts. Godzilla Park 3 is not a bad idea. I'm just telling you, man. Godzilla 1998 would have been better if it just was called Jurassic Park 3. It would have. The same exact fucking concept, essentially. But I do, Old Dwarven Giant. I do want to go to VidCon Europe. I want to go to Europe, man. I want to go do all that shit. I think there's going to be a lot of good shit there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people don't like Europe, but I've never been, so I can't quite tell you. I can't quite tell you how bad it is or how good it is. I don't know. You still miss how in the first Jurassic Park they had scenes with two separate sets of dialogues happening at once. Are you talking about the scene in the car or what? Like when they're in the vehicles going out on the tour? They're trying to do a VidCon in DC, closer to New York. Haven't been to DC in a while, but why would you go to DC? Right? So you can so they can just go, hey everyone, let's go protest the White House. Yeah, okay, if I got my Canon and I've got my Twitch streaming device and I've got this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. And oh, how bad is crime in Washington, D.C.? Oh, it's bad. I probably shouldn't bring anything with me. So I did hear about Keyboard Cat Bento passed away. That's very sad. That's very sad. Make it NYC, then we good. I'd probably go to like I'd go to VidCon in NYC. I know a lot of people that would go to VidCon in NYC. I think people from LA would just go to VidCon in NYC to be like, hey, it's an excuse to go to New York, and they would do it. I think it'd be fun. Jurassic Park 1 is the best of the series. Well, obviously, it is the best in the series. That is very true. But all right, guys, I am going to wrap this thing up here. We've been on for 1 hour and 31 minutes, almost 1 hour, 32 minutes. It's been a fun stream. I would go for a little bit longer. I am exhausted tonight. You know, I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I got to get the kid to bed or get her fed, get her changed here in a little bit, so on and so forth. But if you have not already checked out the Discord, you can do that, discord.me/Mundane Matt, or just hit command Discord in the chat. If you guys want to check back tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard, I'll be back on the air again. You know, Sunday through Thursday, it's my job, it's what I do. Also, if you have any crazy stories, because the crazier the better, this is the Mundane Matt, you know, this is what I do. Be sure to go to mundanematt.com/submit, and I will talk to you fucks later. Have yourself a great fucking day, and peace the fuck out.